If you're a parent, then you need to read this article from the New York Times. It says, not just more babies. These Republicans want more parents at home. As the Trump administration shrinks federal childcare programs, Republicans are backing policies they hope will allow more parents to scale back at work. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud here. They want mothers to stay at home. They don't want parents to stay at home. They want mothers to stay at home. And at first, they're pretty quiet about it in the article, but as you get deeper, they are much more explicit about the fact that they think women should be caring for children over prioritizing their careers, as they say. Now let's get into the weeds on this a little bit, okay? They talk a lot about childcare in this article, which is not surprising because the average American family is very concerned about the high cost of childcare. Childcare is inaccessible, meaning people cannot find it, and incredibly unaffordable in all 50 states. And so families are stressed because the cost of childcare is incredibly high. But instead of funding childcare, instead of subsidizing childcare, they're actively taking funds away from childcare. And the only solution they have to make it more affordable is to deregulate it, which makes it inherently less safe for children. But this is intentional. They talk about that. It is intentional. They are looking to incentivize one parent to stay at home. And when they mean one parent, they mean mom. And just to be clear, I say they mean mom because the data shows that when there are gaps in childcare, women are twice as likely to leave the workforce to care for children. And so they know that. So if they stop funding childcare, if they deregulate childcare, they know that more and more women are going to leave the workforce. Now, they're not explicitly saying that they're trying to force women to leave the workforce, but what they are saying is they are trying to make it more economically viable for women to make the choice to be a stay-at-home parent. And they cite data that says most women want to be a stay-at-home parent and or work part-time. So they address some of the ways that they will make this financially viable for families, like lowering the cost of single-family houses and tax breaks for families that have stay-at-home parents. But what they don't talk about in this article is the inherent risk that a woman takes on when she becomes a stay-at-home parent, that she will set herself up for future financial insecurity should she become a stay-at-home parent. And that's not something that will always happen, but does often happen. And so while there are many women who raise their hand and say, yes, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom or work part-time, many of them choose not to, not simply because they cannot afford it, but because they are unwilling to take on that risk. They are unwilling to be in a position where they have a loss of identity, where they take on a disproportionate amount of the housework and the childcare, where they don't have a financial means to leave, where they're at higher risk of financial insecurity, and where they're less likely to have a robust retirement account for when they are older. There are so many reasons women choose not to be stay-at-home parents. Also, we can't ignore the fact that when women do take time off from work, even for just a short period of time, there are penalties in the workforce. It is very difficult to re-enter, and when they do, they don't earn as much money as they would have if they had stayed in the workforce. So God forbid something happens to their partner. They die, they become injured, they become disabled, whatever it might be, and they need to provide for the family. Women can't, because as a country, we don't value the work they do at home. And not for nothing, we're talking a lot about moms here, but men are just as capable of caring for their children. Men can be amazing caregivers regardless of biology. And this article suggests otherwise, but men can do this work. So let's issue a correction here for the New York Times. Not just more babies. The Republicans want more moms at home.